may not realize it, but you are a part of a grand plan. Someone has great plans for you. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 2-Minute Torah Netzavim Vayelech. Again today, day number 4. We are in Deuteronomy chapter number 30. Verse 1 says, "And it shall be when all these words come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you shall bring them back to your heart among all the nations where Yahweh your Elohim drives you, and shall turn back to Yahweh your Elohim and obey his voice, according to all that I command you today, with all your heart and with all your being, you and your children. Then Yahweh your Elohim shall turn back your captivity, and shall have compassion on you, and he shall turn back and gather you from all the peoples where Yahweh your Elohim has scattered you." So there is a reference scattering of his people that is going to be reversed, and the scattering will become a regathering. I believe this is alluding, at least in part, to what is mentioned in the book of Hosea. Hosea chapter number 1 talks about his children. First of all was Yisrael, you are scattered. And then there was Lo Ruhamah, no mercy. And then Lo Ami, not my people. And he said that in the same place wherein it is said that you're scattered, show no mercy, and not my people, that he would gather us, show mercy, and that we would be his people again. Now, that's a brief summary of a couple chapters there. But the prophet was given an opportunity, even through his family relationship, to demonstrate the great mercy and compassion of Yah, even when we were wayward and returning to former ways of walking and idolatrous behaviors. And he specifically calls the house of Ephraim, house of Israel, or house of Joseph, all synonymous. How that he would provoke us and bring us back to himself. There is then this realization that, as I would dare say the vast majority, if not all of this audience, we live in some place outside of Israel. We were mostly, again, if not all of us, raised in some observance of belief that is outside of what we're currently now walking. And there has been this capturing of our hearts. We have returned to a Hebraic focus of Scripture. After all, with the possible exception of Luke, this book, from cover to cover, was written by Hebrew-minded individuals. It's just beneficial to go back to the original intent and see what is written and understand that this is Yah's heart. This is his mind and heart and personality and character. This is the revelation of himself, of his Messiah, Yeshua, and he is inviting us to come and participate with him in this particular vein and focus of life and this lifestyle. It's not too hard for us. It's not bondage. It's not imprisonment to religious mindsets. This is freedom. This is the law of liberty. And so as we turn our hearts back to this, there is an end result. He says, you and your children. So not only are we embracing this lifestyle, but we are, and I say lifestyle still not, this return walk, this walk of righteousness according to his word. Let's get it correct here. As we teach our children and future generations, yes, there's struggles there. And yes, many of you're praying for your children, or some of you are praying for your parents. And it's a struggle. Be faithful and stay at it and keep crying out. And Yah prayerfully will bring our multiple generations together as it is intended here. And he says, I will turn back to you. That is, that he will turn his face back to us with favor and with compassion, the end result of which is not necessarily immediate, as we're seeing in our day, but rather it is an ongoing process where he will ultimately restore us and bring us not only back to himself and back to his word, but back to the land of these Hebrew ancestors that we are now vitally connected to. I want to share a couple thoughts here, kind of based on what I've just read. Number one, many of you are aware that my brother-in-law, Ricky Hopkins, passed away this past week. And Ricky had been battling an incurable and aggressive cancer for about 1.5 to 2 years. And he had been through several variations of chemo-style cocktails to try to ward off the ultimate effects of this disease for as long as possible. Anyone who's dealt with chemo, either personally or in your family and among your friends, knows that the cure, it can be worse than the disease itself. And he struggled with several variations. It did extend his life. It did give him time. It mutated. And the end result was a massive growth on his brain that ultimately claimed him. Not, however, without meaningful conversations and opportunities for him to share what needed to be heard by my sister Pam, their daughter Tina, and family. Loved ones we had a chance to go and to speak with him, pray with him. And the funeral services after he passed were meaningful. The speakers did a wonderful job. The service was filled with worship, acknowledgement of Ricky's successful homegoing into the arms of his Creator. It was peaceful, and it was just a good event. It was time-consuming, but it was also vital and necessary and meaningful. And there's a lot of things that we kind of gathered out of that time will not permit me to go into, but it was good. What I'm saying, though, is many of you offered your prayers and words of encouragement. They were very much appreciated, and the power of your intercessions and prayers was most definitely evident. It showed up powerfully. So I just want to say thank you. Now, in response to Tuesday's video, many of you have commented that you're watching from, one of the states in the United States, and several have mentioned foreign countries to America. You noted that it's good to realize that you're a part of an extended community. In response to this video, if you could, wherever it is that you're watching from, whether it's one of the states here in America or a nation outside of our borders, would you just respond, as many as would say, hey, I'm watching from, wherever your location is. And it would be encouraging to see, all of you to see, not just myself, but all of us to see how Yah has gathered us from a variety of locations, and just through this one venue connected us. I think it's very important for us to understand you're not alone. And you may have a group of people that you know and can walk with and community, and that's wonderful. I encourage you in that. But for those that are smaller, encourage them by letting them know, hey, you're a part of me and I'm a part of you. And that Yah is gathering all of us so that he can regather us back to where we really belong, within the borders of Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. So help me out with this experiment, and I'll see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.